Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pcarmarket Live. I'm James Barry, and it's a slim crew today. I'm here with Mr. Whitlock.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning.
Great to have you. Summer's over.
Thank you. Yeah, summer is over.
And here we
It's
are.
done.
The leaves haven't really started falling yet, though.
No,
So,
not yet. But it's
still
good driving
technically
weather.
Summer for like, what, 4 days?
Yeah.
3 more days? Yeah, something
Good
like
driving weather, though. It's been nice and cool.
Yeah, so you went
I'll
to
take
Car
it.
Week, right?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't go to Car Week this year.
My goodness.
I had stayed home, watched everything, watched all the auctions. Kind of wish I went because the sales were absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It was, just to put it into context, there was about 20 to 30 million dollars more in Porsche volume this year than last year.
Wow. That's
Alpha
pretty
only
interesting.
20 more cars too.
Yeah.
And even like the online auctions in August did extremely well. Like 700 cars crossed the online block.
Yeah, August was pretty good.
Yeah, August, I guess September.
August was pretty good. Except the last week, I think, like after Monterey was over, everyone gets that last minute trip in.
Yep,
And,
cool down, a little less bidding action.
Yeah, people are asleep at it's a good week to buy. There's opportunities out there.
Yes.
Well, here we are. We had the bridge last weekend, which we'll give a shout out to the bridge. That was an awesome event. Really
I need
high
to get
class.
up there. I've seen all the photos on Instagram and whatnot. It's been one of the events that I need to hit.
Remind me next year, and we'll do everything we can to make sure. You
I'll
get
just
that, because
enter a car, enter one of my dad's cars.
It was
head on up.
It was great, and what's interesting is I don't usually go to car shows to see like hypercars and stuff like that. I'm a Porsche guy. I like cars that are relatable, but you see some stuff there that's just incredible. Bugattis, everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Rimac. There was a couple of cars I didn't even know existed. People like kind of just taking, I guess, the Singer model and the Gunther model and, reworking 575 Maranello, reworking a 928, reworking a...
Was the Superleggera Touring 550 there?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
now I
about
really wish I
that gray one, right? With the brown
Yeah.
Yeah, that was there. The F355.
Wow.
The name is escaping me, so I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can't give the guy a shout out, but I met the gentleman from the UK that built it. The car was incredible. I got to sit in it. I wish I got to drive it, but it was a right-hand drive, so I probably would have stalled it. I never drove a stick with my left hand. So as long as I keep my right hand for the rest of my life, I'll be okay. And that was a really well-executed build.
Nice.
There's another company that's redoing Diablos, so it's starting to get,
it's like a
I hope it
mini
doesn't get out
car
of
week,
control and play it
but
out.
no crowd,
Yeah.
more or less.
But what I like about the Ferrari guy is they're doing 355 F355s. They're limiting it.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's not going to be like an overbuilt type of thing. And I think they'll sell
That's
them all.
still a lot, though.
Yeah, but for a car that my main reason I wouldn't own one is the build quality is terrible.
Yeah.
Even though I love
Maintenance
the car.
nightmare.
Yeah, the car is built amazing. It's got 100 more horsepower. It's raw. It's visceral. They strengthen the structural rigidity of the car. You can customize it to your taste. They bring it a little bit into the new age, but it's still old school. So it's done nicely. Just kind of like what they're doing with the Porsches,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very nice.
So before we start, I want to talk about something interesting because we don't really feature things and talk about stuff. I said, but when something's relatable to our clients and maybe serves a purpose, I feel like we should mention it. So we have a client on here, Jim. I'll leave his last name out. He developed a product. He's a big Porsche collector. He buys a lot of stuff on our site. And he has this thing called the Flood Vault. And basically, he was kind of like in the midst of that hurricane in Naples and he was kind of a victim, I guess you would say, where people lost some pretty spectacular cars. Everyone knows that famous P1.
Yeah, the P1 floating down the
so
road.
this is a product that I felt we'd show everyone because they're going to give free shipping to anyone in the continental U.S. and $100 off if you use the code PCAR at checkout. And you basically put the car in this bag. I got to, test it out and see it work, not in a flood, but, put the car in it. It is such high-strength, durable, well-made material. And they basically put the car in here. And if this car is in a place, like let's say you travel and you leave a car somewhere on a 10 to 6 months, you're not going to be down there to prepare for a hurricane. You leave the car in here. And something as simple as like the boiler in your garage, breaks or something as severe as a hurricane or a natural disaster, this will keep the car from getting submerged. So
like
if you
a
have
freezer bag for a car.
Yeah, it's really cool. And, listen, I love people that execute these things because 20 years ago, roughly, right, when we had Sandy, no, it wasn't that long ago.
Not that long.
I thought it was like, hey, what if we just put the cars in plastic bags? But I'm not an inventor. I don't know how to do this stuff. And somebody actually went out and did it. So I believe that if you are a candidate for this type of thing, for the kind of money it is, you should have it, especially in relation to what the cars cost to replace. And some cars are irreplaceable.
That's pretty cool.
It is very cool. So check that out. So really what we're going to talk about today is, right, we're going to dive into the market, right? So it's all over the place. We're going to get away from picking like a particular model to talk about because it's just, everything's all over the place and it gets confusing. So in general, you and I have been talking about the sell-through rates.
Yeah.
Right?
Sell-through rates. I mean, so August, we ended about 66% on online auction sell-through rates, which is how it's been for the last few months, just overall. This time last year, it was a little bit higher, 68 to 72. But, it's fairly steady. And then September comes, and everything takes a dump. Not prices, and when prices aren't falling off a cliff, but we were seeing sell-through rates consistently 50%. I had one day that was in the 30s, which I've never seen before in the 2 years I've been tracking all of these prices religiously.
Yeah.
So that was a shock.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, we saw that coming, however, not to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think what it is, right, we were talking about this. There are mistakes that sellers are making. There's mistakes that buyers are making. So buyers are waiting for that, like, unbelievable deal. And I'll give David the credit. David said this to a customer a long time ago. Someone came in, and we had a car, and they said, give me the best price. And he said, if I gave you the best price, would you know what the best price is? Because do you really know what the best deal is? You don't.
Yeah.
And I see people all the time not taking something that is a great deal. In the past, we've even bought cars, because we're like, all right, you know what? If somebody doesn't want to jump on this, we'll jump on it. Seller wants to sell the car. So the sellers are waiting for that. I always say it's like you're buying a lottery ticket, right? Oh, you get that thing. It's like $1 billion Powerball, or 800 billion, or 800 million, whatever. And maybe you get like a $5 million prize. Would you say, no, give it back?
Give it back. I don't want it.
I want to wait for the 800 million. You're sitting there, you're never going to get it. So it's the same thing there. You got to know there's different levels of a win. And the sellers, rightfully so, I want as much money as I can get for my stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm also, if I'm really going to sell it, I'm going to sell it, and that's it.
Yeah, but you do have a lot of sellers that don't have to sell it. It's their fourth 911 that's sitting in the garage. And it's like, I could get rid of it, get something else, but if it doesn't get my number, it's okay. So they're not. Well,
that's why if you're watching
to
and you're a psychiatrist or a psychologist, come on and let's delve into this. Because that is to me, it's either some type of an emotional or a mental thing. Because most of these people could afford to give the car away, right? So if you have the desire to sell something, let's say the car is worth $180,000, and you don't need the money, but you want to sell the car, and someone offers you $175,000, and you have to give this whole soliloquy about why you don't need the money and you don't need to sell over $5,000.
Right.
What did you go through the whole exercise for? I've sold things for less than I want to.
Just sell it.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's about, not being a dum-dum and selling it way under market. But once you get into that spread, it's like...
Yeah, we've seen a lot of cars recently just get bid probably right up to under where they should have been, within that $5,000 and less. That's right. And not sell.
That's right.
But on the other hand, you see some that, will hit 120 when it's a $180,000 car. We haven't been seeing that as much. That seems to be affecting, some of the older cars right now. Yeah. But on the newer stuff,
that's right. That's what I see. I see with like 993s, G bodies, F bodies. I see some stuff's doing all the money, and then the other stuff, it's not even doing like close to what it should. It's like you have cars ending at $35,000. We had an SC Cabriolet, gorgeous car there. They ended under 30.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
That car's going to sell. Someone's going to buy that. But it's just very, very strange. But I guess the best advice is don't look at comps and don't look at them as like the Bible. It's just a gauge. So the first what we'll talk about here, right? Is for example, GT4 RSs, right? It was in one of your last email blasts. That's what kind of gave me the idea to talk about it today. This is a car that everyone's playing the sticker, let's flip it game, blah, blah, blah. So you got to figure people bought these cars for maybe a little over, paid tax of roughly, 15 to 20 grand. And now they're trying to make money and that's over.
Yeah.
So, here's a car that sold on Bring a Trailer a couple weeks ago. Very good color, hammers at $227. Now, I think it's safe to say 6 months, a year ago, this would have been $25,000 more, maybe even more than that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 2023, the first car to sell, that we're selling were, 270s, 275.
Yeah.
But it's kind of come down in steps, about every 6 months. And right now, I feel like we're in another step below.
Yes.
Because that was, beautiful, beautiful car.
Yes.
Paint to sample, Gemini blue.
Incredible.
PCCBs, it had everything, and it sold above average.
Yes.
Average pricing right now is hitting like 216, 215-ish, and stepping down.
Right.
And so that was a good,
right. So
good
you have
sale,
obviously the magnesium
car.
wheels and the Weissach package is a big thing on this car.
Yeah.
And then if you have paint to sample, so if you have paint to sample without that, or if you have that without paint to sample, and then if you have both, it's a different animal. But then, the next one we're going to look at, right, this one sold on Bring a Trailer also in July. This is the one that throws everyone off. People see this and they go, oh, I have to get that for my car. And then they're sitting. And I have a theory that cars like this, sales like this, stop the market. Because this was just a situation where two people had to have the car or whatever happened
Well, it's
there.
19 miles.
Yeah, but still,
So
that's crazy money.
In the wrapper, crazy money, yes.
Crazy money.
Two people had to have it. But when you have so many low, under 1,000-mile cars, like that little difference makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That little difference in mileage can make a big difference in price.
It does, but I have a sneaking suspicion if you ran this exact car again on whatever website,
Probably wouldn't make that.
It's not going to make that. You look at this one here, okay? This we just sold the other day. Now, this is comparable to that Gemini blue car that sold for $227 on BAT, but mind you, this is a Canadian car.
Yeah.
So that rings true because you usually see about a 10 to 15% slip, which is exactly spot on, right?
Absolutely.
That car did in 220s. This did a hair under 2.
Yeah.
So
for a Canadian
difference.
car, it did well. Paint to sample, there's like paint to sample.
And
was
this,
like
by the way,
gray
10,000
black.
kilometers on it. So, this had a little bit of mileage. So I think this did really well.
What's your opinion on like paint to sample, like a silver, a gray, or a paint to sample black? Like if you're gonna get a paint to sample allocation, like let's get crazy, let's get wild.
The only time I saw it, I agree with you 1,000,000%. The only time I saw it really make a difference is there are collectors out there that are obsessed with black. There are some people that have to have a black on black car. They won't have black tan. They won't have black gray. They have to have black. I've met customers like this. So in 2016, the GT3 RS was not available in black. You had to order paint to sample.
PTS black, okay.
We sold one. I think there's 5. Someone could fact check me on that. This isn't the debate, so I could be wrong, but it's somewhere around 5. It's not 10. It's not 20. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So in that scenario, I've seen the car because there's got to be somebody out there that wants that car in black.
Yeah.
It has to be. It's a sinister
So
car.
it wasn't offered.
Yeah, but putting that aside, you're 100% correct. If it's paint to sample, to me, it should be something, like case in point, when we were at the dealership here, we had a Polar Silver, which I love, paint to sample 997 turbo. Nobody knew that car was paint to sample. It was like a silver car.
Yeah, it's still
silver.
silver.
But you have to find that guy who maybe had a 993 in Polar Silver and wants to, go into the newer age and keep his color,
I debate that internally all the time.
It's true. And the last GT4 RS we'll look at, this one I thought did pretty weak. This was at Gooding, and it sold for $201,000 in Pebble. Had the Wysock package. So, this to me was like, when I saw this when I was watching the Monterey week, I was like, that could be the signal.
And that's all in too. That's with the buyer's fee.
Yeah.
So it was bid well below $200,000.
I call these filler cars at those auctions. I feel like people go there to find like an old speedster, a really special, like a Gull Wing, something really, really hard to find. You don't need to travel to Pebble. This is kind of just like, I guess you're at the supermarket and on the way out, you pick up a pack of gum. I think that's the only reason you send a car there like this, because no one needs to go there to buy this.
I've seen GT3 like Tourings sell for just stupid money. I was at the December RM sale.
Yeah.
And this is when the Tourings were finally starting to come off. And, $1 million cars all over the road. The one's GT3 Touring.
Yeah.
It just goes through the roof.
Yeah.
It's like, somebody was bored.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what, too? Those cars are very specific, so you get the right one that someone's been looking for, and they will go. So this car I brought up because I felt you'd be all over this.
Absolutely.
This is a testament to, this is what I call the untouched market, right? So this is exactly what it should have done, 140 to 160-ish. Club Coupe, for those that don't know, they're special. PCA, homage, if you will, to the 991.
So 60th anniversary of the Porsche Club of America.
Yeah.
So only 60 examples, special color, Club Blau.
Yeah. I love it. And similarly, to back this up, there was a Rennsport reunion car, which is basically the same car as this, just different paint scheme. It's
less.
It's a GTS, and there's less of them.
And there's less.
Just no sailed on BAT, but it should have sold, in my opinion. Did about the same type of money, had some miles on it.
Yep.
So this market is, 3 cars, right? This, the Rennsport, and the 50th anniversary. Am I missing one? That's like a market right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Rennsport's obviously the least. But this one, it did about even. These have been flat for the last 5-ish years, hovering around $150,000. A lot of the cars we're seeing over and over again, like the Rennsport that sold, was the last one to sell, almost a little over a year ago, if I remember correctly.
I think they'll be flat for a while because they're not going to get to the price of a GT3. You know, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, they can't get to the price of a normal 991 GTS. So they got to live there somewhere. Like we had a 50th anniversary we sold about a month ago, but it was a higher mile car with I believe, a PDK, and it did like 115 grand or something like that. We could check. But that's about what these things should do.
I think it's going to take another 10 years to see at least another 10 years to see a big jump in these when the early 991 people are like, oh yeah, remember that? That was a special car. There's only 60 of them.
Yeah, and plus don't forget too, these are normally aspirated. That plays a role. Yeah, I mean, because as these cars age out now, warranties are getting expired. You know, people care more about the driving enjoyment than like an extra 25 horsepower. I like the 991.2, but if I had to own one, it would be the .1. You know, the sound alone.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
Besides the feel. And then when you get to the 991s, you know, in general, we've talked about this. They're almost back to what the norms were before the spike in the market, right? They're down 20, 30%, 15%, depending on the car, but that's the range on them. The 997s and the 996s, tell me if you agree, I find nice examples of Carreras, Carrera S's, Carrera 4S's selling well. I find turbos to be struggling.
997 turbos in general have been struggling,
especially
like big
the cabs.
2009, you know, the perfect year for a 997 turbo, the manual transmission hasn't been doing as well as it was.
That's right.
Even we had a 997.2 cabriolet with a stick. I mean, they're so few and far between because everybody got PDK because it was a new shiny thing. It just didn't bring the money. And that's been, this month.
You talk about the one on Bring a Trail, the silver one? Yeah. But it brought 170. I mean, I thought for a cab, and this is just one man's opinion, I think that's it.
Right now.
Yeah.
But you see, if you saw some of the comps, a year ago, Pcarmarket 2022, that was $200,000. Yeah. But it's not the Pcarmarket anymore.
No, it's not.
I don't think
and that's
sellers
still
realize
good money.
it.
You know what I mean? If somebody, again, if somebody wants to sell something, I mean, I don't know where that car goes. And I'm bullish on 997s. I think,
absolutely.
I don't know if we brought it up, but we probably did on the last one. We had that GTS that did incredible. The right cars are going to bring it. But once they get past a certain point, like it sounds like a lot of money, 150 grand for a 997 GTS or 170 grand. But when you think about it, there's still a lot of value there compared to what you have to pay for a new car that's not as fun to drive. Once they get to 300,000, there's no value. So that's where I feel like, they may just have, like with the Club Coupes, I just think they'll maybe be flat for a little while.
Yeah, they'll continue.
Until we find
everything
out
else, your normal cars are softening.
Well, yes and no. Like, look at these. Stuff. This car, and this guy did no reserves. He did himself a favor. This was a no sale a long time ago on our site. He put up a no reserve, rare color.
I was like, great color. Yeah. Was that macadamia metallic?
It's a macadamia 4S Cabriolet with, mid-range mileage. I think just under 40,000 miles, turbo wheels, PDK, $65,000.
Yeah, but that's not your average car either. That's a great color and turbo wheels.
But again, it's not collectible either. It's PDK. It's 40,000 miles. So it did a good number. This one, here's another one, 29,000 mile .1997, right? 08S, great color, great condition. 60 grand plus the fee, 63 all in.
Yeah.
That's strong. But if you took this same car right now, doubled the mileage, maybe made it silver with gray interior, that would have maybe brought in the mid-40s. Now they're struggling to get over 40. We have a cab sitting in Deal Tank right now that ended in the low 30s. It was like a 60,000 mile 4S cab that could have maybe brought upper 30s. So that's what's happening here. And then this one was strong too. But again, look, speed yellow, 33,000 miles, not an S. People will pay for the right car, 50 grand plus or minus. So you're at like 50, roughly 53 all in here. You know what I mean? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
The seller did well, and I think the buyer did well. Because how's that car going down? You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
Look what you got there. So you move to the turbos, and I've seen this. I just brought this as a one-off. This car bid to 44 grand. It's a 63,000 mile driver, but I don't see any real issues with it. The gentleman sold with us before. He presented it nice. There's no red lights.
The problem is there's a ton of them on the market.
There's a ton.
There's way more on the market than there are buyers right now.
There's a ton.
Yep. Yeah. And the ones that are sitting there buying are waiting for the pristine car or exactly what they want. Something weird. Speed yellow, with yellow seat belts. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
The perfect turbo.
But this here is what I can test. Because with the new cars, I tell the sellers, get real. Just come down a little bit, move the car. It's not coming back. I would not sell this car for $44,000. You know what I mean, I
I'd
don't
wait
have
for
the
the
audacity
spring.
to call up the seller and say it's good to just get it. This is if you just keep it. You know what I mean, and somebody will probably come along and pay him a little less than he wanted. The car's worth in the 50s.
I honestly think if you have something like this, wait for the spring market. Only because we'll be past the election. We'll see today interest rate cuts.
Yeah.
I think it'll be different. I
Yeah,
think things
it's
will
interesting you
come
say that
back
because I
around.
find Porsches. I mean, yeah, the spring always helps everything across the board, but Porsches you could sell it in the middle of a blizzard on a day in January. Like if someone's looking for a specific car, it's going to do well.
Well, all the time, but just
Yeah.
your general cars. I mean,
General cars, yeah.
general cars, general Porsches, like we would just be completely dead in
Mm-hmm.
August, at the dealership. Everybody's on vacation. Then once kids got back to school, September was always a hit. But then it went, quiet through the holidays. Then when springtime came,
Yeah.
the floodgates open.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, you have that as a factor for sure. But, I think in general, Porsche people, they're always looking because the guys who are experienced, we've had people
Everybody's always looking.
come in here. I always bring up the dealership because it's good anecdotal stuff. But, like we had a gentleman come in and we had like a very specific 997.2 here. It was a Carrera Coupe, like locking rear diff, sport chrono, sport exhaust, turbo 2 wheels, hard back seats. It was not an S. It was, and the guy was like, "Wow, I've been looking for a car just like this for 3 years." And then he had to go home and think about it. And someone came and bought the car. And he called back 2 days later. He goes, "All right, I'll take the car." I'm like, "It's gone."
Yeah.
Like you can't hesitate. So once that happens to you once, that's why I say
You
spring.
jump on it.
Yeah, spring doesn't play a role because if you're looking for something, you have those searches saved. You're on the auctions every day, and when you see it, you're ready. You just gotta go. You can't. There's no such thing as it's a bad time.
I disagree with general cars.
A general
Yeah,
cars,
general
yes,
cars.
but
Of course,
Porsches
the special
are Porsches.
ones. Not all Porsches are Porsches.
Porsches are Porsches. You know what I mean? So listen. Case in point, I was buying a car the day my son was delivered. We were still in the hospital because I'm like, it was a rare color, rare spec, low mileage car, and the deal didn't work out. But I was there doing
But
it.
you're buying.
Yeah, and my wife didn't have any objection because she knew. She said, "Oh yeah, that's a good one."
That's a keeper.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But so we've covered all that. When it comes to the new cars, I think the party's over. You know what I mean? So here's 2 off-brand cars, right? So this is the new Z06. This is what, for all you people who are Porsche guys, there are some other cars that people play in the flipping game. You know what I mean?
This was one of them.
The EVs, there's nothing to even talk about, right? You can't buy a Hummer EV for 110, sell it for 250 anymore. You could buy it for 110, maybe sell it for 70. You could do that. But the cars that are still left that are desirable, the one that's holding its own is the big body Range Rover. You can't buy
Really?
them under sticker yet. You know what I mean? Really, but you're not
Still.
getting over sticker for a used one anymore. That's
Okay.
for sure. But that car, everybody wants the big body Range Rover. That's for sure. So that's that. This car, sold for 144 all in.
What's a sticker on something like that?
So it's a good question. We're gonna bring it up here.
I have zero vet knowledge.
This car was 155.
Oh,
So when these came out, and this car had a short-lived, run here, like 10 over, 20 over, maybe 30 over, maybe a few people paid 200 for them, but these are already normal Corvettes. They're under sticker.
God, you see, I'm on the road constantly. I see tons every day.
Yeah. And by the way, this gentleman, I'll talk good about him. He's been in the business for 30 years. He's a great seller. He lost money on this. And that's why he's in business for 30 plus years, because he sees the message.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, "Oh no, I don't
been
need,
through it.
I'll drive it. I'll drive it. I'll put my deal pin, I'll drive it. If I'm gonna lose that much." Okay. You know what I mean? And the same one with the one after it. It was sold by a Maserati store. They took a substantial loss on it, but we were on the phone with all the powers that be, and we said, like, "You got to do this." You know what I mean? It's
not getting any better.
Because usually the deals should be fun.
Yeah.
But I was just, trying to tell them politely, like, this is actually good because it's going to be an even bigger one if you wait. So this was another one. This was a car that we actually got about 25, 30,000 more for this car 3-4 months ago. And a retail buyer kind of screwed up the deal. The reserve was higher, and they wanted to kind of wait it out because they were taking a hit on it. And now we sold it 4 months later for 187. This is a S680 Maybach.
What's that new?
Oh my God, this is high twos. This is
Really?
untitled from the dealer.
Oh wow.
And
So
I
it's
love
basically a
this
new
one
car
because
for
wait till you see the
$100,000
interior.
off.
Look at this. It's a blue. Look at that.
Oh, I love blue interiors.
It's insane. But we were selling the Maybach GLS trucks. And when I say we, bring a trailer, us, everybody, they were stickers for whatever, depending on which motor was in it. And they were getting like 100 over. They're selling for like 250, 300. Those things are 110
Wild.
grand now, 120 grand. So You know, it's that party.
People think the Porsche market is crazy. Oh no, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Well, but that was a short-lived thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't, you know, people listen. If you got in there and you made money, God bless you. You did well.
Right?
You're a timer. You're a good market timer. But some people continue to play that game.
And that game's
And
over.
it just didn't really work out. But so that's the deal with that.
Oh,
But yeah,
I saw
so
SL flip up there.
yeah. So when it comes to the new
Oh.
cars, you're back to like, hey, find like a really good lightly used certified pre-owned if you don't want to take a big bath on something, and
Yeah.
certainly don't try to get on lists and flip things. It's just it's really over. It's really over. You know what I mean? So what do you have to say about all that? Any new cars that pique your attention that are not Porsche?
No.
about
I mean,
the-
I
what
would,
about the
I would
Land Cruiser?
consider, I would consider, I need three rows. So the new Land Cruiser, you know,
small.
looks great. It's too small. But then you have the Lexus version. It has the third row.
It's very
But
nice.
still kind of small. I don't know. I like my LC200.
I do too.
So
There was
if I
one at
could
no sale
find,
yesterday, you saw that?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I could find, I would love the perfect LC for me is 2021 Heritage Edition
Yeah.
with 3 rows, black, you know, or silver. Like that would be it.
Yeah.
Because I'm still driving a car from the mid 2000s because it didn't change much
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah, I'm
You
with
know,
you.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
You know, I go back and forth. Oh, you know, new Range Rover would be great, but I don't know. I want to get where I'm going.
Yeah, that's the
I want to get where I'm going at least with
That's
not
the
many
sad part.
headaches.
You know, we got to do one on trucks one day because that's a big part of our world. You know, what I
Yeah.
mean, like all these the LRs, you know, the LR4s, even the old Discoveries. People are restoring the
Yes.
original Range Rovers, which
I
I think
love
is
old
cool
Range Rovers.
because
Yep.
they're making them reliable. They're putting
Yeah.
cool colors on them. They're improving some fit and finish bits on them. The G wagons are a big thing that even confuses me. You know, you want to talk about prices on G wagons? My God, they're all over the place.
Oh yeah.
All over the place.
The earlier ones, the Europa ones,
Oh, forget
are completely different than the same year. That's not Europa.
Yeah,
I try and follow
there was a
it,
cool
but
convertible in Monterey. I forgot what auction it was. It was purple. It was a convertible cabriolet. It sold for like 250 grand. We had one on the site. We got the gentleman 270. He didn't want to sell it, and then he put it on Bring a Trailer, and it did like 250 or something like that. So, you know, that's a lot. That's an expensive truck.
For a 90s.
That's an expensive truck.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know what the problem is? The Defenders, they're awesome. You know, the new ones, they got it right. The old ones, though, it really is. You're driving a truck, and you're driving a truck.
You're driving
with
a
the G-Wagon.
tractor.
Yeah, that's a tractor.
That's
and the
a
G-Wagon's
tractor.
a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem
Yep.
with those.
My dad wants a NAS Defender.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that's pretty cool looking. Have you
are.
driven one yet? Give it a
That's
whirl.
where it gets better, though.
Yeah.
You know, you get one from like early '90s, '80s, and even
Those,
older.
those were the bad ones.
Well,
or just
yeah.
tough to drive, not bad,
to
but
drive.
very, very
Yeah,
tractor
it's
like.
a farm vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, people buy it for the look, and
But
then
they look so good.
They do.
I like boxes.
They do. They do. We saw a bunch of them out in Sag Harbor. We'll retouch because we did that SL podcast, right?
Yeah.
We'll retouch the SL market. I picked out one model just to show something here. So this is the
P30.
last
There we go.
generation of the
Not
hard
good
top.
headlights.
What's that?
Not okay. So we had the SL conversation.
Yes.
We landed on a P30 performance package, but the different headlight look because of the
Yes.
designer. So this
Yeah.
is a newer one
Right,
that we
this is
had
not a
landed
Bruno.
on.
This is even past that because there was the Bruno Sacco car, then there's the facelifted Bruno Sacco car, and then there's this
Okay.
one, the R231. So just to show you, this was probably one of the last sales. This was in June. Performance package, good miles, 70 grand. Okay, check this out. Same car, less mileage. Oh, same mileage actually. No sales on Bring a Trailer for $51,000. Okay, we take the car. Not gonna brag like we did much better, but we got 58, and it got the deal done. But look at the and that was
Still.
hard to do. But this was a gentleman that wanted one that was close to doing the extra few thousand.
It's less than
dollars that make
6
difference.
months, $10,000
so
off.
these sellers are having a struggle, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, I have a $70,000 car, and they're finding out it's worth less. So imagine this car without the P30 package with some mileage on it. You're talking 40s, and even in 30s in some cases. So that was a big cool down. So even in the used cars, you know, a lot of things dialed back tremendously. You know what I mean? And this now is a steal to me. This
my
is
God, yeah.
for $58,000, performance package, great color. You know, this is a major car. Yeah, I mean, you're talking over 500 horsepower, 650, 660 torque on this car.
Any new Sacco P30s come up?
Yeah, they're down too.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
down too. Yeah,
Good for
they're
me.
in the low 40s.
All right. I've
you
had
know?
2 friends pick up SL since our last
Oh,
podcast.
really? What kind?
God, I get it wrong. R120, the older one, 80s.
Oh, 80s. Cool.
Yeah, 80s stuff.
Yeah. We sold
Yep.
a cool one. It went locally. There was an 89 560 SL in like that yellow color, the light ivory it's called,
Okay.
with a tobacco interior.
Oh, God.
Very cool.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
nice.
that hammered in the mid 30s. It was 50-something thousand miles, really clean.
Ooh, okay.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a nice
I think
car.
that's I like that direction. I don't know. I can't get my head around it yet.
This one sold. This was the one I
Next
had.
year.
This
Oh, this
sold-
was your, okay.
Yep, it sold for 24.
I saw this
which
car.
was like right about what it should have done. I was hoping for a few more bucks, but hey, I have to practice what I preach. I got to sell things.
AMG Sport package, just a looks package.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has the wheels, the rockers, the bumpers. But this did what it should have done. This was a special car. The guy who got this got a great car. This car was tight. It was nice.
Yep.
It was
$24,000. Jeez.
Yeah, I had to say goodbye to it. I
seems a
can't leave
lot
it
of
outside.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Seems like a lot of car for $24,000.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's an NA motor.
Okay.
That sounds better than any new one you can get with the fake popping and stuff. It was just a smooth, crisp, nice V8.
Yeah.
Nice roar.
Yeah,
So-
back in my dealer days, we used to sell a ton of those.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. But of course, we always had the problems.
Yeah. So there you have it. We wanted to keep this one brief, right? Because the in a nutshell here, we're watching a moving target. We're gonna keep on it. We're gonna check in with the audience and go over it. They're gonna subscribe to your newsletter. But at the end of the day, right? Just know that there's no certainty. And if you really want to sell something, don't be a fool and give it away. But don't lose
If it's
over
close,
a couple of bucks. Yeah.
it's
For
close.
us, we really care about the customers. Being very sincere when I say that to people. And I say this to, if you've been on the phone with me, you've probably heard me say this if you were a seller. It's painful because we wind up selling the car. Usually the seller comes back to us in like a month or 2 months, whenever they're ready. And I would say 75% of the time, like we got 90 the first time and the second time we got 80 and they sell it. And that's painful to watch.
Yeah.
Why
Why not just do it?
Yeah, financially it doesn't affect us. We still sell the car, but we want to look out for everyone. Want to advise you correctly. And I have also, if you've been on the phone with me, I've told people I don't know sometimes. You just have to tell me if you're comfortable. I can't tell you if this is good or bad. But that happened the other day, and unfortunately, the gentleman called me back the next morning and says, "Okay, let's do it." And the buyer, he found a better deal.
Yeah.
That's why you got to strike. It's
Strike
really,
while the iron's hot.
Yeah, the auction game is a dance, and you have to
It's a
strike in
sped
that
up dance,
period.
too.
It's for both sides.
Yeah.
The seller, you got to just be a little uncomfortable because it'll wind up being a good decision most of the time. With the buyer, that's your chance to get it, because what happens the day after, right? Everyone cools off. The buyer realizes, oh, good. You know what? I'm glad I didn't win that. And the seller just says, you know what? I'm going to wind up keeping it, so I'm going to raise my price back up. The window's gone.
Yeah. The other thing I think a lot of sellers need to take into account is the preparation before the sale.
Yes.
They need, pictures, details. Don't just say you have service records. Show each one. I want to see a couple hundred pictures in a gallery to hell, and so do bidders. Like that's you. I see it constantly. The cars that are getting good money, they're just your average run-of-the-mill Porsches, are ones that are presented extremely well, even with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
Like you had the 993 Carrera 2 S recently, and it had paintwork. The seller disclosed that. It had certain service, didn't have. Everything was disclosed. It was a great listing, and he got all the money for that car.
He got all the money.
That was a great price.
Yeah.
But he put the work in ahead of time,
Well,
so that once that window was open, the bidders were ready to strike.
At the end of the day, myself,
great
we're-
car.
We're all a bunch of babies. Everyone sees, oh, I saw that one sell. I want that price, but they don't want to do the work. Like, greatness is achieved through hard work and effort, right? In most cases. So, sometimes you get luck. We've seen auctions on here where the seller didn't deserve the money they got, but two people liked the car and they got it. But you're 100% right. And to me, if a seller does all the effort, doesn't get the reward, that pains me to see. But, we do try to encourage people to do the best quality listings. And to be fair to the audience, too, there are so many new people coming into the online auction arena.
True. You see
so
first-time
if
bidders and sellers constantly.
That's right. So if you're a veteran and you're making mistakes like that, then shame on you. You don't deserve to get all the money. Yeah, you should know better. But a first-timer,
True.
because I had people
right.
on the phone say, what, next time I'm going to go get it this, I'm going to go get that, I'm going to buy myself a paint meter.
I'm going to make a guide.
Yeah.
how to properly list your Porsche. Everything you need to hit. Here's your checklist. I'll put it on the website.
Well, you know what we should do? When you do that, let's just film an episode because I'm sure that would be
Yeah.
very helpful.
Because I've
for
seen
people to
some
watch.
excellent listings recently, and some like real nerdy stuff. Like one guy measured the thickness of the glass on his Carrera RS, and I was just like, oh, you sir win.
So the only bad that can come from that is now, right? You got a guy that's selling a car, and now a comment that comes on is, how come you didn't measure your glass?
How come? Oh yeah.
That's the worst. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, the buyers can do a PPI. The sellers, you know, have limitations in a lot of cases. If you're not in the business, there's only so much you could do as a private seller, and rightfully so. You know, like if you have a late model car and it's not a stick, so there's no DME, and you got the Carfax and you got a paint meter and the car's got low mileage and you have your books and your keys, yeah, I guess you can get like a lemon squad inspection, but really, like, you know, it's there. You know what I mean? We don't have to, you know, nail that guy to the cross. But if you got an older car, like a 356 or a 911T or something like that, and you want all the money and you've got nothing, you're probably not getting
You've got 80 pictures of a 356.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get that all the time.
Yep.
We get that all the time because unfortunately, and listen, rightfully
So
so.
many spots that things can be wrong on those, and the buyers want them right, or at least to know what they're getting into.
I could be empathetic to the fact that the age group of a lot of those people that own the cars, they're not technologically savvy. So we do our best to really get out there and help them, you know, hire people, whatever it is, because, you know, but a lot of them just, you know, they come from the age where they take a black and white photo, run it in the Newsday, and the car's sold. Yeah, I mean, so they're like, what do I gotta
you're
do?
pissing
Oh,
off Mr. Whitlock, telling him he's that old.
All right. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't miss content, and we appreciate you being with us. Check out the Flood Vault, right?
Flood Vault. Yes.
We keep getting the
Save
name
your
confused.
car.
Save your car. And
Free shipping to Florida.
If you get to speak to the owner of that company, you'll like him. He's a real Porsche guy. I got to introduce you to him. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.
Hey, thank you.